Welcome to the podcast. I'm John.
I'm Lizzie.
And this is Harry Potter and the Second Time Reader.
Book 3.
Book 3,
Woo-hoo.
Prisoner of Azkaban.
The best one so far.
I know. And you are bored by the fourth one, which we'll talk about when we get to the fourth one. But
Yeah.
This is your favorite one so far?
Yeah, for sure.
Excellent.
I read somewhere that this was, out of the first 5, this was like her easiest one to write. That she said it just like flowed the best.
Really?
Yeah. So, I don't know.
I know she had problems writing certain chapters, and she had to rewrite chapters like 20 times before she really hit it. And I know that she was just deliberating whether she was going to swap the plot of book 6 and book 2. But I didn't know this is going to, she said this was her easiest to write. It just flowed.
Yeah.
I like that. Where'd you find that?
I was on a whole deep dive for Dementors, and then I just came across that.
You were on a deep dive of Dementors.
Yeah.
I can't wait to talk about that.
I know. I have just, for my thoughts, I just casually wrote like a 2-page essay just to like make sure I was on par with my argument.
No way.
Yeah.
Look at the devotion to this. I love that.
So many thoughts. I need to organize them. And it just came out in Dementor essay form. Yeah. Single-spaced.
Single-spaced 2-page essay. That's fantastic. Sometimes I do that whenever I'm unorganized, just write everything down.
Oh, yeah.
All right, let's go through. We're going to probably go through 4 chapters this podcast. But can you give me a summary? What do you want to? I think we've done it, so we've given summaries of every single chapter, and then we've talked about them. You want to just we give a summary of a chapter, and then we talk about that chapter?
Yeah.
Go to the next one?
Let's do that.
Yeah, I like that.
I'm with that.
Yeah. All right, give me a summary of the very first chapter, which is Owl Post.
So, basically, we are back in the Dursleys.
Yeah. Sucks.
And it's summer, and then I'm never sure if what I'm gonna say is actually in the chapter or not. But he's, having his casual, not fun, always being abused summer.
Yeah.
And then he's getting letters for the first time, which I love the letters. Yeah, I don't know how to make this into coherent thought.
No,
he's getting letters, and he gets his Hogwarts thing about going to Hogsmeade.
Yeah,
that was one of the letters.
Yep.
It's his birthday.
Mm-hmm.
And then he has to like make a bet or like cut a deal with his uncle to try and get approval. For that.
He tries to get approval, and then he does get the letter from Ron as well. That shows them that he's that he is in Egypt. They won this like grand prize for the Ministry of Magic, and Wes,
just attacking you.
He's in attack mode right now. Hey, what are you trying to bite my toes for? Take your ball. Get out of here.
He got birthday cards.
I know.
That was important.
Which is great. Do you keep all your birthday cards, or do you get rid of them?
I keep some of them. I have some arbitrary hierarchy of birthday cards. But I have a good stack. I'll go through them every couple years and get rid of whatever. But yeah, some of them.
There's oh, did I just kick it under the couch?
No, it's over here.
Okay, good. There's one of the first lines in this says Harry Potter was a highly unusual boy in many ways. For one thing, he hated the summer holidays more than any other time of year. For another, he really wanted to do his homework, but was forced to do it in secret in the dead of night. And he also happened to be a wizard. I kind of get bored of the intros when she like recaps everything, but this is a cute one. And I like that Harry hates the summer because he has to go back to the Dursleys. But has your opinion of the Dursleys changed at all?
No.
They're just still terrible?
They're still the same. Yeah. I feel like they just keep doing more of the same, honestly. Like, I don't think they evolve that much as characters until later. Because I know that, like, Dudley gets a little better and they have, like, a little moment. But for now, no. They're not good. They're bad. Yeah.
You remember that Dudley has a redemption moment?
Well,
what do you mean? He gets a little bit better?
Don't they have this like, I guess I can spoil everything, but like, don't they have a Dementor experience and Harry like saves him? And I thought they like shook hands or something, or like, I don't know. I remember having this like, oh, maybe it's not so bad after all. But I don't know what that was tied to anymore. But
it might be. We'll see if we get to any of that kind of stuff in the books. I'm not going to really spoil anything that you are even leery of. So
I should just start saying I'm so confident that I know every fact, and you just give me all the details.
Yeah. This is when there is like a little grand prize for the Weasleys as well. Mm-hmm. But this, I love the writing of this because she sneaks little things in this book already to start. Like the rat is on the shoulders. The rat is super old. When you read this for the first time, did you know at all where this is going or the plot of this, or did you figure anything out?
With Scabbers, not at all. I was definitely like, the dog is Sirius Black. I definitely was onto that. I definitely knew. I had this hunch that he wasn't bad, and I thought he sent the firebolt, and like I was team Sirius is good.
Really?
Yeah. And I was proud of that because I was like, finally, I got something right. But everything else, no. Even like everything with Lupin, I was just like totally in shock at the end of this book. And
it is a good shocker at the end of the book. There's like a lot of things that happen. This is a very interwoven book, but it's great.
Like it took me so long to process what was actually happening at the end.
Yeah.
It was just like so complicated. But this book, I feel like more than the first two, has more of the storyline that's like before Harry entered this world.
Yes.
Like it's like making the way beginning make sense a little bit. So that's kind of nice. I like
how can you explain it to me how you have read this book? Like what is the origin story of everything that's happened? Like give me not in as much detail as you can, but like with Harry's parents. What background did it give you on pre-Harry?
I'm like still confused at why Voldemort wanted to kill them.
Okay.
Which is annoying to me. I don't know. So there's the Harry Potter's parents know Voldemort's after them for something, which I don't know why. But they know that they need to have Sirius be the secret keeper to like protect Harry, I guess.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yep.
And then that was like some sacrificial thing that they needed to like preserve their child more than themselves. But then like I still don't know why Voldemort is after them. I don't know.
And because you've never seen the movies either, which is to me, you're still like a very pure Harry Potter fan. You're very rare. But in the movies, I'm not gonna really even spoil anything in the movies. But what is who are the Marauders?
Oh, Lupin, Mr. Potter.
Yeah. Do you know his first name?
James.
Yeah, James. There you go.
Mr. Potter. Okay, wait. Sirius, Padfoot, and then Pettigrew.
Yep.
Is I forget his name.
Peter Pettigrew. Yeah.
No, but his little animal name.
Wormtail.
Oh yeah, Wormtail.
Yeah.
Mooney.
Yeah.
Mooney, Padfoot, Prongs, and
Wormtail.
Yeah.
Love that.
That's so fun.
I know, it's so good. And they're like unbelievable how they actually created the Marauders map. That thing is insane, which we'll talk about when we get there to the Marauders map.
There's something in this letter.
Yeah.
Because Bill is breaking curses, but he's breaking curses in Egypt in this like old like grave thing. So is he just a grave robber and that's where they get like their money from? Because why is he breaking into these things? And that's like even now people go into these caves and they like take everything they can find. But is that like okay in the wizarding world? Is that where they get their treasures from?
Honestly, that I've never given that thought, but that does make a lot of sense as to because he's not working for himself. He is working for Gringotts. Mm-hmm. So maybe that's how Gringotts has gotten its fortune is just by grave robbing these old.
And Ron is like, there's so much trouble that they encounter with all these like curses and stuff. But I was like,
I love that
maybe
theory.
they're not very ethical people.
Because it's so generic what he does. I would actually be so curious to see if there's anything about that. Like if she's written anything about like what he actually does. Because he's essentially like a curse breaker. And like, what is he? They're definitely, now that you say that, they're definitely robbing graves and just stealing all the money and putting all that money in Gringotts.
And like, whatever the other street is, that's Nocturne Alley.
Yeah.
I'm like, all these things in those kind of buildings with like the dark arts stuff.
Yeah.
I'm like, that has to be like weird
because
grave robbed stuff.
I mean, we haven't heard of it. There's no like wizard museum. There's not like, you know, the Metropolitan Museum of Art or like even the Natural History Museum. There's not like wizarding equivalent of that where they're like taking all these artifacts and putting them for like the public to see. So they're definitely just stealing those and lining their pockets with all the gold.
Exactly.
That's a great theory.
That hit me and I was like, oh my gosh, he's like a criminal, but it's like fine.
That is actually so cool. I've never thought about that before.
And like even when he's talking to Mrs. Weasley, he's like, nobody cares what I look like as long as I'm doing my job. So I was like, maybe it's a job that like people don't really respect or like people kind of want to push under the rug. And they're like, just do your thing. Don't tell me how. Don't tell me what. Just give me the money. That's like what I was thinking about. Dang. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it comes back.
That's fantastic. I mean, you've kind of convinced me. That's kind of become headcanon in my head right now.
Great. I win.
That is literally his job. His job is to break into. I like imagine him too in like, you know, Egypt and by like the Great Pyramids, like finding secret passageways where all the gold is, breaking into like King Tut's tombs or like graveyard or whatever it is, or gravestone, whatever it is. Sarcophagus.
Maybe they're making their own Marauders map for Egypt.
Ooh.
And they're like, there's an underground there.
Great theory, Lizzy. Great theory. Do you have anything else in chapter 1 before we go into chapter 2? Chapter 1 is just letters essentially. And there's not a ton.
The last line of chapter 1 is like my favorite thing. Or it's not the last line. Well, yeah, we'll include all of this.
Yeah.
He took off his glasses and lay down, eyes open, facing his 3 birthday cards. Extremely unusual though he was at that moment, Harry Potter felt just like everyone else, glad for the first time in his life that it was his birthday.
Yeah.
Like, oh, that's so nice. I love that. Yeah. Just like falling asleep, gazing at his little birthday cards.
Yeah.
That's so nice.
Like he knows he's loved. He knows like he's friends with people. Yeah. That's pretty hard to beat. That's fantastic.
And especially last summer was not good with the owl post.
I know, with freaking Dobby.
It's like, this is what I could have felt last year. Are you kidding me?
All right, give me a summary of chapter 2, which is Aunt Marge's big mistake.
Okay, Aunt Marge comes. Harry has to pretend to be a little criminal boy at a bad school so that he can get his letter signed.
Yeah.
And then he accidentally blows up Aunt Marge because he's so angry. And then he runs away.
Yeah.
Which is
wild.
Yeah, I know.
Absolutely wild. Maybe here's just a first initial question, because I still want to gauge kind of where you're at and what you remember. Some things might just pop back to you. But how dangerous do you think it is that Harry has ran away from home?
I didn't think it was necessarily dangerous because no one, like, obviously Sirius Black is out to get him at this point, but nobody actually like has told him that, I don't think.
Yeah, for sure.
But even in like the wizarding world, people are just like, oh, you're Harry Potter, and they still just kind of like accept him. So I don't think there's like anything super crazy gonna happen if he just runs away and lives his life.
But do you think that he would be safe at the Dursleys? Like if Sirius Black came knocking at the door, do you think he would actually like be safe at the Dursleys? It doesn't seem like the Dursleys can't really do anything. Harry can't really do magic right there because he's underage.
But can't everyone just apparate to him and like protect him?
Yeah, that's true.
Like,
maybe
is
that's
there
the question.
anywhere that's actually unsafe?
Does he have anybody who's like watching over him?
I would assume the entire Ministry of Magic. I don't know. I mean, if it's like one-on-one Harry and Sirius, obviously Harry can't win.
Yeah.
But this is like one of those things where Harry shouldn't have won any other thing anyways. And he just has to because he's the main character.
Yeah.
And so be it.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I feel like he'd find a way. But I don't think he's, even in the Muggle world, I feel like it's not, you can't survive if you're 13, but
that is a little shocking. Did you ever have a moment where you ran away from home when you were a kid?
I almost did.
Really?
Yeah. I was like contemplating it. But that was only because it was like portrayed in movies as like that's a good thing to do.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I think about that now. I'm like, why did we let kids think that that's a good option? Yeah. Like, I'm literally standing at my door, like, I'm leaving, never coming back. But no, I never did. I would have, what would I even have done? Gone down the block?
Yeah. Done a loop around the block. You realize, I can't do anything. So
just die. But no, I've never actually ran away. I'm a big wanderer. Like, I should have been on a leash. But I'm like, if I know where my family was, then I'm okay. But my family doesn't know where I am. I remember that in Disney. They were like, you need to stay with us. And I was like, but I know where you are. And they're like, that doesn't work like that. But it's just my nature.
I love that.
Aunt Marge is so mean.
Yeah. Does she like crack the top of your least favorite people so far? She's pretty terrible in this book. She's
like mean, but it didn't actually emotionally like bother me. I was just like, all right, there's mean people in the world. But like, I don't know. What bothered me more was Mr. Dursley not signing the thing.
Yeah, that one hurt.
But okay, if you got that letter, are you going to just sign that yourself immediately? Because I would have signed it, no second thought, 100%. I, Mr. Dursley, give whatever permission. Like, I'm not asking them to sign that. That was crazy.
Okay. We could probably do that in the Muggle world. I feel like there would be some kind of charms against that in the Wizarding world. Yeah, for sure. Especially with a mass murder, there's got to be some like ink or some way to detect it as a wizard. Like when the forms are handed in, they put them through like a scantron, and it says if it's fabricated or not.
It's like whose fingerprints are on it.
I remember I tried to forge my parents' signature once when I didn't give them like the test back, and they had to sign it because I did bad on it. I remember trying to forge it, and my teacher knew immediately because my handwriting was exactly like my own, and it just didn't work out. I feel like they'd have some precautions against that.
How like there's hundreds of students though.
There's not that many students. They only need permission forms from the third years. And there's probably maybe 40 third years max. Cause
the moment I read that there was like a sign on the dotted line, I was like, I'm signing that. Like no hesitation.
There are moments where you're a little frustrated at Harry for not doing things like that. Even the fact that he asked, like even the first book when he brings the letter to his uncle rather than just take the uncle and like stash it in his pocket and then read it later.
It's just,
that's another one of those moments though.
Yeah. This was my one thought was, did you catch that Aunt Marge is always comparing Harry to a dog, and then like Sirius is a dog, and they're like his godfather.
Way. That's a great catch too.
I like that. That kind of made me get through it a little bit better.
Lizzy, you're showing me things I've never seen before in this book. I love.
I'm like really putting in my thinking cap here. I know. Like, I love that. Putting in max effort to prove myself.
It's like weird foreshadowing that Harry is like family kind of with this dog. He's like a god. That's a fascinating idea. I've never heard that before.
Yeah, this one's got a mean, runty look about him. You get that with dogs. And I was like, literally Sirius is a mean, runty looking person, let alone a giant black dog. And then I feel like if Harry ever gets called a dog again, like later in life, he'd be like, yeah, I am. Like, that's
I'm a dog. Yeah. DAWG.
Got that dog. But I don't know, because that was just kind of like, she doesn't even know what she's doing. But Neither does Harry, but like his godfather's a dog.
That is a great bit of foreshadowing.
Yeah. So I feel like what's her name? Who wrote this?
J.K. Rowling.
Oh yeah, J.K. Rowling. I feel like she definitely did that on purpose.
I feel like she did. She's exceptional with foreshadowing. She's really good with foreshadowing. I was just talking to someone about that. That is, and it's interesting that of all professions, she made this woman be a dog breeder. There had to have been purpose behind that. I mean, it's definitely putting it on the forefront of your mind about dogs and like what's happening here with dogs, because that's the next chapter. You see the dog, but I've never thought about that. It's a great bit of writing.
Yeah, I love it.
This is fantastic. I love reading this book with other people so much because they pop up. You're like, you've already created in 20 minutes. You've already created 2 headcanons for me now. I love this.
Good. We'll make a list.
I know.
New ideas brought to the table.
Why do you think, I mean, that is another maybe impossible question to answer. Why do you think that they're purposefully mean to Harry? And maybe that's a bad phrasing. They hate Harry with everything in them, but they like make Harry sit with them and Marge at the table. Yeah. I don't understand that.
Me neither. I'd be like, leave. I don't want you here.
Just go upstairs so we can enjoy ourselves.
And he's such a risk that he could explode someone, or he could just start saying, I'm a wizard, whatever. Because even Harry says that he's like, Aunt Marge won't forget what I could tell her. I was like, oh yeah, you got that. I don't know. I think it's all just like resentment against the magic world still. Like, I think that's just the same from the other 2 books. Like, there's just previous bad experience from the magic world with Mr. and Mrs. Dursley, and then they just like hate that, but they hate it like in Harry. Yeah. And I don't know why they can't be normal.
It's so frustrating. It's maddening.
Support him.
I know. It's really
because
like
do they know that it's the Harry Potter he defeated Voldemort? Do you think she gets that?
Aunt Marge?
No.
Vernon and Petunia?
Yeah.
Yeah. 100%.
So wouldn't that be cool to like be Harry Potter's parents and his family?
But you're forgetting, and this is we were even talking about this before, because Petunia is Lily's sister, and we were saying, I think we talked about this in the first one. I think they hate the magical world with everything in them because, and like there's different reasons, because I think they're just nasty people, to be honest. But there is a backstory of Petunia where you're like, does she hate it so much and she wants to stamp it out of Harry and she wants nothing to do with it because she saw her sister die at the hands of, like a magician, a wizard, and is like just furious by that. Mm-hmm. So that's why she wants to stamp it out of Harry, and that's why she wants nothing to do with it. I just think they're nasty people, to be completely honest. I don't think there's like any real motive behind that, but I don't think they're like they're so strange. They're not flat characters at all. But they are, but like at this simultaneously they want to stand out from everyone, but they want to blend in at the same time. They live in a street that is like every house is like the same house. Every house looks the same. They're like trying to manicure the perfect lawn and like have all these nice shrubs, and like they're all into that.
Suburbia.
Yeah, it's like so typical suburbia, but at the same time they want to stand out in suburbia. But it's the same thing with Harry. Like they want to hush Harry up, but they want to torture him by like having Harry attend dinner with Aunt Marge and stuff like that. It just doesn't make sense. Yeah. They're so conflicted.
Yeah, I agree. 100%. That's it.
Yep, that's it. Let's go to chapter 3. So Harry ends up running away here. And chapter 3 is the night bus. We'll do 2 more chapters for this pod.
Harry, like, it struck me that Harry doesn't even have to run away. Like, he runs to get his stuff out from the cupboard, but once he hits the door, like, he just stood there. And, like, there's no shot of anyone coming after him. That hit me. I was like, he doesn't even have to run away. Like, he just has to run to get his magic stuff, and then he's just, like, freely gone on his own. Nobody's chasing after him.
Yeah, but he can't do magic. That's the only thing.
Well, he did.
He did, and then
he's like, at this point,
yeah.
might as well start doing stuff.
And he's lucky because people are on his side right here. So he does magic, and then like the ministry kind of glosses over it. They're like, oh, there's like no problems for anything like this. But if he was
not on the hit list,
yes,
that would have been different.
Yeah, he could have probably gotten. He might have gotten expelled from Hogwarts if he was just like a normal kid. I don't know. There's all sorts of issues with that.
When you get expelled from Hogwarts, can you just go to another school? Or like, can you just like DIY your wizard education?
They probably have like passed the trash laws in the wizarding world, where like if a student gets expelled, they get put on a list, and like they let the other schools know, don't take this student because they got expelled for this reason. The other schools can probably take it at their discretion, but I'm sure there's some kind of list that they have that they pass around. That's another fascinating question. I've never thought about that.
I feel like there's expelled, limited wizards in the world, and you'd want every single one of them to like be their full powerful self.
Are you so you're in book 4? Have you been introduced to the other wizarding schools?
Just at the Quidditch thing.
Okay, so you're still on the Quidditch.
Just like the camps of people. But that's it.
Yeah, it's with other wizarding schools. Yeah, the French.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because Fleur comes from there, right?
Yeah,
I remember her.
Fleur Delacour.
Yeah.
The
night bus.
That would be interesting because in the second one we know Hagrid was expelled, so it'd be funny if he actually just picked up and went to another school. But Hagrid's another issue that he got his wand snapped into. But again, my theory behind his wand being snapped into is I think Dumbledore mended it. And because Dumbledore is, powerful, and then he put it in an umbrella. That's my theory for that.
Yeah, I could see that for sure.
What notes did you have for chapter 3?
The night bus. So this kid who runs the night bus, or he's working on the night bus, he's only like a few years older than Harry, and I immediately was like, this is Harry's future if he gets expelled. Like,
dang.
I was just like, because I was sitting there wondering what happens when someone gets expelled from Hogwarts. And Harry was in this whole train of thought too of like, I'm just going to live my life in Hogsmeade or like whatever and just like live in squalor as a failed wizard. And then this little kid who's like his age having his little teenager job.
Yeah.
Shows up. I'm like, this is probably what Harry's like, this is what my life is gonna come to. Like, I'm gonna be this crazy bus driver kid. It's just like too much of a coincidence.
Now I'm really thinking through every book and like the examples that JK writes of like who Harry can become. Because book 2, a lot of people think Gilderoy Lockhart became the professor, so Dumbledore could show Harry what he would become if he stayed in the wizarding world and he like achieved a level of fame and he knew he was famous. He would become like Gilderoy Lockhart. So in this one, it's interesting.
Like the opposite.
When he does magic and he almost gets expelled, this is what he would be. He would become Stan Shunpike. He'd just be an operator at the night bus. It's funny too because I think in book 1 or something like that, Harry has this idea because he thought he was going to be expelled, and he was like, "Oh, maybe I can just chill with Hagrid and like be his little assistant." And I'm like, "That's what Harry's life would become if he ended up being expelled."
Because you need to have your diploma to have a magical job.
Probably not. I don't necessarily think so, but you have to be advanced enough, and school teaches you how to be advanced. So like you could probably be like a 5th or 6th year and drop out and still get a job somewhere and do like pretty phenomenal things. You don't necessarily have to have the degree from Hogwarts. I don't even know if it's a degree. It's a great question.
I guess it's like graduating high school.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. But there is something to it. I don't think if you're expelled from Hogwarts, there is an idea that they snap your wand like they snapped Hagrid's wand. But I don't think that's not necessarily true. If you're expelled from Hogwarts, I think you are just expelled. But if you do some horrific crime, like what they think opened the Chamber of Secrets, then your wand is snapped. So Harry could have still had his wand if he was expelled, and he could have done stuff. Like probably eked out a meager living in the magical world for a little bit. But that's a great point that Stan Shunpike is what he's becoming. It's fascinating. Lizzy, you're coming to play tonight. And hitting bombs out. Home runs.
This is also where they say that Sirius is escaped, like these chapters.
Yeah.
But if you went to jail, what would you go to jail for? I love asking people this question.
If I went to jail, what would I go to jail for?
I have asked so many people this question, and some people want a dramatic heist and like be their little Oceans movie, you know, like steal a painting. I would be a kleptomaniac for sure.
Really?
100%. I would just steal everything and then it would like come and get me.
Yeah. Just hole up somewhere.
Yeah. That's my crime if I went to jail.
Why would that want to be your crime?
I hate spending money. I'm like, nothing is worth money. Like, money is so hard to get. But yeah, and then like, actually, never mind. I'm not gonna say it.
You can say it. Go ahead.
No, there's no edits on this.
No, of course there's edits. There's only 3 people listening right now, so we're good.
I just feel like I always look at the stores and I'm like, there's no way you need my money. I could totally take this. And like every single time, I literally don't go through like self-checkout because I have no trust in myself. And they're like, how many bags are you using? 0. So I'm not paying for bags.
You're saying you would want to go to prison for being a kleptomaniac, but really you're a kleptomaniac.
I'm saying if I went to jail, that's what my crime would be if I was a criminal. But I'm not a criminal. I just steal paper bags. Because I'm not paying 10 cents for those.
That is a little crazy.
No.
That's a little crazy.
But what's your crime?
That's a great question. I've never thought about that question before. Literally my entire life.
Tax fraud. Arson.
Arson?
Don't like do something that's hurting someone else. That's my only thing.
I would do it like, okay, so there's like movies that sometimes guys romanticize. That's like defending people that you love, but doing it in a way that like you sabotage yourself and end up like taking all the blame for it, and the person that you love like goes free or something like that. Mm-hmm. That is not appealing to me, but it's like that's how I'd want to go to jail, you know?
Okay.
Like there's a movie, what was the movie called? John Q or something like that. It was with Denzel Washington, and his son needed a heart transplant, and he was like bottom on the list and he wasn't getting in, and his son was going to die. So one day he walks in with his son and like holds the entire hospital hostage, and he has like days long standoff with the hospital, and he's like in there, he's like has guns to people's heads, and none of the guns were loaded. Like nothing that he was doing was like gonna harm anybody, but he like threatened it. And then his son they like rushed his son. His son got the open heart transplant, and as soon as his son got the open heart transplant, he like opened the doors and everyone came in. They tackled him and he went to prison, probably for a really, really long time. Probably maybe not for life, but I'm like, that's how I'd want to go.
The most noble crime.
Super noble. Like send me to prison for something super noble, like Sirius, like how Sirius is kind of in prison.
That is crazy. Okay. We'll find some kid who needs a heart transplant. Start threatening people.
That is actually a great question.
I love that. Because people, sometimes they have such a solid answer, like where they feel inclined that like, I would do this if there was like an alternate universe. But then
what's a really good answer that you've heard?
Someone really wanted to do like a big heist. Yeah, and I thought that was cool. Yeah. And he was this very unassuming person who's very introverted and just like, I don't know. He seemed very passive, and then he was like, I would like buy this weapon and like hold all these things and like go steal. It was basically like the Oceans movies, which are incredible and make everyone want to steal artwork.
Yes. There's another movie. If you like the Oceans movie, you'd like another movie called Inside Job. It's one of my favorite heist movies. Because it's so freaking cool. Have you ever seen it?
Mm-mm.
Oh, you gotta watch it. I'm not gonna spoil anything, but the end of the movie, I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. This is so freaking cool how they did this. It's fantastic. Great movie.
I'll add it to the list.
Yeah. That's a great question, man.
It's so good. And like, it's such a strange thing to know about someone, especially if you don't know them well.
Yeah, seriously.
Like, tell me your deepest, darkest inclination of your heart.
Why would you go to prison?
Anyway.
I love that. Asking great questions too. Anything else in the chapter before we hit the fourth one? Fourth and final?
I don't think so.
Maybe another random question. How do you think someone could kill 13 people? So Sirius, you know that Sirius didn't kill 13 people.
Yeah.
But you know that Peter Pettigrew killed 13 people. How the heck do you kill 13 people in one shot?
I don't know. That didn't seem that crazy to me.
Really?
Because in the human world, if you got the right weapon, 100% you can kill 13 people in like 10 seconds.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I feel like the wizarding world has higher morals in a way, or maybe like our society now is in such a terrible state, but like killing 13 people is bad, but I'm like, it's not unheard of. Like,
yeah, for sure.
So I don't know. Abracadabra that. Like,
you need to individually do that to 13 people though.
Did they die from like the shrapnel hitting them?
Well, yeah, that's
because he shot the ground, right?
Yeah, some people think that he used a spell called Bombarda and just hit something, and it like everyone killed from like concrete getting knocked out and like shrapnel and stuff like that. So maybe that's it.
But I feel like it would have been like 13 dead, 27 injured.
Yeah,
if they all got.
That's a great point. Yeah. Shrapnel. I like that. Yeah.
But I don't know. I imagine it like a laser beam hitting the ground, and then it like poof, like refracting onto everyone. Just a little spark to the chest, and you're done. Great.
Yeah.
It's also pink. That blast. I don't know
it's
why.
Pink.
Yeah.
In your head, it's pink.
It's like Star Wars, the lightsaber.
I love that. Yeah. For anybody, Lizzy has not seen any of the movies at all, so everything that she's saying is completely in her head, which is the best. So it's a pink laser beam that comes out. Can you tell everyone what? Because we have Trelawney in this. You want to tell everyone now, or when we hit the Trelawney chapters, who you think Trelawney is?
Well, Trelawney, if you ever watch Monsters Inc. or Monsters University, the dean of the school is like this bug thing, and that's exactly how I picture Trelawney, like walking around on all these little legs. And then like big scarves and just like smoky room.
Dean Hardscrabble. Yeah.
Dean
Hardscrabble. That is completely her. Now that you said that, I'm like, that is the picture that I'm going to have in my head of Trelawney every single time. All right. We're on the fourth chapter, which is the Leaky Cauldron. Give me a quick summary of this and we'll talk about some talking points and then.
So Fudge comes to talk to Harry, and Harry's not in trouble, which is a little fishy. For doing not in trouble for doing magic, and then he gets to stay in the Leaky Cauldron for like a week.
Yeah, which is pretty sweet.
Yeah, vacation.
Yeah,
all alone. So fun. And then he just gets to hang out there for a while till the Weasleys come, and I don't know what else happens.
That's pretty much it. He doesn't. I don't think he sees the Weasleys yet. The next chapter is. Oh no, he meets up with the Weasleys. They kind of like just do all their shopping, but that's pretty much the end of the chapter when they're about to go back to school. Because I think at the end of this chapter, Mr. Weasley warns Harry about Sirius Black, which is like a real intense thing. But I love this chapter so much. I remember when I read it, this is one of my favorite chapters when I first read it, because Harry has complete independence and he's like staying in the Leaky Cauldron. He's just chilling, doing his homework outside of Florian and Fortescue's. He gets free sundaes every half hour.
That is crazy.
I know, which is a lot of ice cream.
That's a
significant amount of ice cream.
His first special treatment. Like everybody's like, oh my gosh, you're Harry Potter, but life goes on. And this guy's like, no. Free ice cream for life.
Yeah.
Like, that's pretty cool.
That is pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Did you have any notes in this chapter?
Oh, well, Hermione buys Crookshanks.
Yeah.
Which is crazy.
Yep.
I hate that she bought him.
Why?
Because, like, he's bothering Ron's rat already. I hate that.
Ron's rat is Peter Pettigrew.
Okay, but not at this point. He's a normal, hand-me-down, well-loved rat. Okay, he's important to him, to Ron. And Hermione's like, yeah, let me get this cat that literally just has it out for your pet, and we're best friends, so they're gonna have to see each other all the time. So that really bothered me. But okay, this is another thought that I think you don't have in your head. But okay. Hermione has her birthday money, right?
Yeah.
And she only has like 10 coins or something. But when Ron and Harry chased out the rat from the place, like she ends up buying the rat medicine for Ron. So I was like, maybe she spent all her birthday money on this medicine that's expensive. And then nobody wants the cat, which it said nobody wants the cat. And the cat's been there forever. So I'm like, maybe this is the only cat or the only pet that she could even afford since she spent all her money on Ron's medicine. And she got this like freebie cat that everyone hated. And she actually wanted a nice owl, but she didn't do that. That's my only, it was like maybe Hermione didn't really buy the cat, but she got it for like $1.
And she really wanted an owl, so it just makes her a really good friend that she's sacrificing what she wants to get rat tonic for Ron.
Yeah, because she's like, I have extra birthday money, I'm gonna get a pet. And like, I don't know if she actually wants this cat.
The only issue is when she leaves the store, she loves Crookshanks immediately.
But like, Ron loves his ugly rat too.
Yeah, it's true. I don't mind that theory so much. I kind of like that. I think that it was severely discounted, so that's probably why she could afford the rat tonic as well and the cat. I don't think I mind that too much. There is a theory with this one though with the cat.
It's so funny.
That one wasn't revolutionary to me.
Okay, I just thought it was like maybe interesting.
Yeah.
But I don't really.
What does that tell you about Hermione for you?
That Hermione is very generous and that she's like actually going out of her way to be nice to these boys. But like then she's equally as annoying to them later, so that kind of undoes that for me. But
that's how she's like, I feel like that's how she shows love. She just is annoying to them. I love her so much. She is a little much sometimes. But I love that she got the hat because the cat, because the cat terrorizes Peter Pettigrew as soon as the cat sees Peter Pettigrew.
So did Sirius and the cat have their little rendezvous already?
No.
Oh, when did they have that? Like when did they?
Probably. In another few chapters, probably. I think there's something that was kind of written that the cat is a Kneasel, so the cat is like a wizardy cat. It's not like a perfectly muggle cat, so it actually has like wizard qualities to it.
But don't animals have power anyway?
What do you mean?
Like, never mind. Never mind.
What do you mean animals have power anyway?
I thought like because they asked what's the rat's power.
And
they were like, they don't. He doesn't have power
because he's just a common rat. There were other rats that were like all those black rats that were like doing tap dancing or whatever like that.
Those ego rats.
The ego rats.
Those
jerks.
Yeah.
But the Hermione's cat is smarter. So apparently, some people say that when Hermione's cat started chasing Wormtail, she knew and recognized, because she's a super smart cat. She knew and recognized that it wasn't an actual rat, that it was a transfigured human as a rat. So, and maybe she knew the amount of time. Crookshanks is a girl or a boy?
No idea.
I kind of forgot. I think it's a boy. Or no.
It seems like a girl.
Maybe a girl. I'll stick with girl for a second. But I think she probably recognized Peter as maybe having been trapped in like a rat body for a while, and she was like, this seems suspicious, so she goes after him.
Just on general suspicion?
It's instinct. Animal instinct.
But she doesn't know that it's like Pettigrew. You're saying
no, she doesn't know that it's Peter Pettigrew, but she knows that just something is suspicious,
the
I think.
vibe is off.
Yeah.
Interesting. So then what? I just thought it was a magical cat, and like the cat was good at like, I don't know, reading the room.
It might be, yeah.
Because I thought is Crookshanks the girl? Well, now she is.
I'm gonna look this up real quick.
Crookshanks was convinced by Sirius because they met.
Crookshanks is a male, by the way.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry, Crookshanks. It's non-binary. It's a non-binary
yes, they them cat. So Crookshanks, I think when he met Sirius, was like, oh, I know that rat. Like I see that rat every day.
Yeah, for sure.
And then Sirius utilized the cat.
Yes.
But I didn't really think that like off the gate.
There is
that's not a saying.
Out of the gate.
Out of the gate.
Yeah, off the gate. You can do it. You can be off the gate or out of the gate. It doesn't matter. Something with a gate.
Yeah. Whatever it is, we're off of it. We're out of it.
There is a really cool theory that I love, but I don't necessarily think it's right. There's another later on in the books, and this isn't really that spoilery. Later on in the books, it's revealed that the Potters had a cat because Harry was chasing a cat around. Now, some people think that cat that the Potters had was Crookshanks, and I'm sure Peter Pettigrew is probably showing up there at their house because in the later it actually mentions that Peter Pettigrew shows up and he looked a little depressed and sad when he was visiting the Potters.
After.
So some people think that I know this is before they were murdered. So like they were in hiding.
In human form?
He was in human form still because he had betrayed them, but he hadn't like revealed that he was the betrayer yet. So some people think the cat recognized Peter Pettigrew and knew him in his like rat form. So maybe it was like, the sense he could scent, he could smell Peter Pettigrew. So this Kneasel, this cat, went away and hid for like 13 years waiting for the one time that Hermione was going to walk in the shop, and she knew, waiting for Peter Pettigrew to get revenge for the Potters. So some people think this is the Potters cat that Hermione has. There's some things that support it, some things that don't. I don't necessarily think it's completely headcanon, but I kind of like it as a theory.
Okay. Unconvinced.
You said unconvinced or you're convinced? Yeah.
No. I mean, I like that story. That's kind of interesting, but
yeah, for sure.
I don't know.
It's just kind of out there.
It's a cat.
We'll touch on that a little bit again as we actually hit the chapter when they talk about the cat. But yeah, then after there's a lot about animals and pets in this. There's a lot about the Weasleys in this, but then Arthur warns Harry about Sirius, which is like a really intense section. But anything else in this chapter before we wrap it up?
I actually like how he found out by overhearing the conversation.
Same.
It was just like an easy way to break it.
Yeah, same.
But I don't like. Then you have all the unknown of what would have actually been said, like when you're having a conversation, but the conversation never happened.
Yeah, exactly.
So
yeah.
What good even is it?
Yeah, I know.
He's just like, I know everything. But
that's what he's like, he doesn't know everything, but he thinks he knows everything. So that's why when he's like, oh yeah, don't worry, I know everything that's happened about this. And they're like you do, and it's not going to bother you? And he's like, no, but he doesn't really know everything. So it's a good little point of writing there. Harry's a little bit sure of himself, which I love because he's getting more confident. But at the same time, maybe a little overconfident. All right, what were who's your favorite character in these 4 chapters, and what's your favorite moment?
My favorite character, probably the kid on the night bus. I don't know.
Stan Shunpike?
Yeah. He's funny. And honestly, my favorite moment is probably when Harry says that he's Neville. Like, that's just endearing to me. Yeah.
Why is that endearing to you?
Because, like, even though Neville's kind of the fourth wheel, it kind of just proves that he's still on Harry's mind and, like, this instantaneous, like, I'm Neville. But
I like that.
I don't know. There's also a line that Harry said that Hagrid was the bravest person he ever knew, and that was also, like, my favorite.
Yeah, that was a great line.
Yeah.
I think my favorite moment was just him at Florian and Fortescue's, or just like the Leaky Cauldron, just chilling there for the week. That seems so fun. Just when you're a kid like that, you just get a whole week to yourself of just like doing whatever you want. It's so great. And then I think my favorite moment was, or my favorite character is just Harry in these. I think he's just like fantastic. He's like the obviously the main focal point of these chapters, and he's good. He's getting a little more confident, getting more friends. I like him.
I would pick Harry, but I just don't want to pick Harry as my favorite.
He's too obvious. Yeah. So Stan Shunpike,
he doesn't count.
Well, thanks for joining us on our journey of Harry Potter and the Second Time Reader.
Bye.
Later.